EA Sports and its continuing quest to excite and enrage the college football loving population has released yet another set of ratings. This time, it is the overall power ratings, the top 25 overall power ratings for each team in the new EA Sports College Football 25 video game. Of course, this is the first edition of the video game since 2013. Many lawsuits happened, many NIL deals happened to make this game come back. We're very excited, but they're going to make some of you really mad. And I think we can probably guess who those people who will be mad are, because they released their offensive and defensive top 25s on Thursday. On Friday, they released the overall top 25. So Tennessee fans, you were mad about being snubbed on offense and defense. Well, guess what? You were snubbed in the overall ratings too. Not in the top 25. Now, for those of us who have Tennessee in our offseason way too early top 10, this is a little bit puzzling. I don't understand how ratings that take into account, how good individual players are, that seem to be buoyed by really good individual players in some cases high up in the rankings. Like, how does James Pierce Jr., potentially the best defensive player in the entire country, not lift Tennessee up a little bit? It is odd for me. It is very strange. But there's some folks that should be pretty happy that, if this comes to fruition in real life, if these rankings are close in real life, if the power ratings of these teams look like this on the field, you better be very happy. But it also probably will excite you to play as some of these teams in the game. And I think that is part of the attraction here. Colorado at number 16. I don't know that Colorado is going to be the 16th best team in the country. I think if Colorado is the 16th best team in the country, the Buffs are going to be in the mix for the Big 12 title for most of the season. It'll be really exciting to watch. But we need to see more on both sides of the ball. And, why are they up here? If I were to guess, I'd say a lot of casuals want to play as Colorado. And so it would make it more fun to play as Colorado if you've made them higher rated. Now, EA Sports has said they will be updating the rankings as the season progresses. So if Colorado looks, let's say Colorado plays Nebraska, which is going to have a really good returning defense, despite what the EA Sports ratings might tell you. If Colorado moves the ball very well in that defense, then yeah, that rating will be justified. If Tony White, the defensive coordinator, and the polar bear, Nash Hutmacher, if they clamp down on Colorado's offense, then you may see them drop. So there's a few that should, though, make some fan bases very exciting. Notre Dame is the number 7 overall team. Now, Notre Dame's a team we probably think is a fringe top 10 type team. They've got a schedule that really lends itself to Notre Dame making the playoff. What this means, we know Notre Dame's defense can be really good. This suggests a faith in Notre Dame's offense that, maybe is true. Like if you talk to the folks at Notre Dame, they really like their receiving core this year. They feel like they can have a more dynamic passing game than they've had. They're always good on the offensive line, and they bring in Riley Leonard from Duke, who I think is going to be a very fun quarterback to play as in the game because he is really fast, but has a very good arm, throws a good deep ball. So I think that'll be a fun one to play as in the game, and it'll be fun to watch in real life. Can these guys be as good as their video game version? Because if they can, you're talking about definitely a playoff team and possibly a team that's hosting a home game in the playoff, a team that can advance in the playoff. Notre Dame's been dying for that. 2 teams to watch, especially where it feels like their on-field results do not match the rating on 2 of their units. Now, the other 2 feel very accurate based on their on-field, but it is both sets of Tigers that play in stadiums nicknamed Death Valley. That's right, Clemson and LSU. So I have no qualms with ranking Clemson's defense very high. I have no qualms with ranking LSU's offense very high. Both of those units, even though they've lost some good players, have incredibly good players coming back. LSU, you got Will Campbell and Emory Jones at each offensive tackle spot. You bring in CJ Daniels from Liberty to replace some of the production you lost, losing Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. to the first round last year. Jaden Daniels, the Heisman Trophy winner, is gone, but Garrett Nussmeier has been waiting in the wings. We've seen him. We have faith in Garrett Nussmeier that offense is going to keep going. Clemson's defense, Peter Woods, one of the best defensive tackles in the country. Like we know defensively, Clemson is going to be tough. But the video game makers seem to have a lot of faith in LSU's defense and a lot of faith in Clemson's offense. And neither one of those last year gave you any reason to believe. So with LSU, they have overhauled the coaching staff. So maybe that's it. But again, the roster has not changed as much because LSU was not necessarily willing to pay the price it cost to get even serviceable defensive linemen in the portal. They were very expensive. I would argue they were overpriced. Brian Kelly would argue they were overpriced. So they didn't go do that. I don't know how much better the defense is going to be. So we'll see if LSU's defense is good in the game, but it has a bigger jump to make in real life. Clemson, the offense, really, how good are the freshman receivers? Bryant Westco, TJ Moore, because the ones they've got coming back have not been particularly dynamic. It feels like that long run of great receivers they had just ended when T. Higgins and Amari Rodgers left, and they have not been able to rekindle it. So if those guys are really good, and again, we don't know how good some of these freshmen are going to be in the game. We haven't gotten individual player ratings yet, but the two freshman receivers at Clemson, Cam Coleman at Auburn, Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State, those are receivers that I'm very excited to see. How good did the game make those guys? Because the hype around those guys, and not just from recruiting sites like On3, but also from coaches who recruited them, that's off the charts. Like, a lot of people believe that these are guys who can come in and be instant impact freshmen. So for Clemson, if that's the case, if one or both of those guys turns out to be awesome, then it does change the dynamics of Clemson's offense. But we don't know yet. For now, it feels like optimism on the EA Sports side, and, you know, a way for people to play as some big brand names that they're going to want to play as. But we need to see that on the field before we justify these lofty rankings that these guys got. Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples On 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.